summer weekend, and my friends and I decided to embark on a camping adventure deep in the heart of the forest. The anticipation of escaping the city and immersing ourselves in the tranquility of nature had us excited beyond words. We arrived at the remote campsite late in the afternoon, surrounded by towering trees and the soothing sound of a nearby stream. The scent of pine needles filled the air as we set up our tents and gathered around a crackling campfire. It was a perfect start to our camping trip. As the day turned into night, we gathered around the fire, sharing stories and roasting marshmallows. Laughter and the occasional howl of a distant animal were the only sounds that broke the silence of the wilderness. Eventually, it was time to retire to our tents. I crawled into my sleeping bag. The soft rustling of leaves and the chirping of crickets serving as a lullaby. I was confident that I would wake up to another beautiful day in the forest, but that's not how it happened. In the dead of night, I was awakened by a strange, eerie noise. It sounded like a whisper, a voice barely audible. I sat up in my sleeping bag, heart pounding, trying to make sense of it. I glanced around the darkened tent, but my friends were fast asleep. I slowly unzipped the tent and stepped outside. My flashlight in hand, the moon was shrouded by thick clouds, casting an eerie gloom over the campsite. I shone my light around, trying to locate the source of the whispering. Then I heard it again. The whispering voice coming from deeper in the woods. It was faint but distinct, and it seemed to beckon me, urging me to follow it. Against my better judgment, I felt compelled to investigate, leaving the safety of the campfire's glow behind. I ventured further into the darkness. The trees closed in around me, their branches forming a canopy that blocked out the moonlight. It was eerily silent, save for the whispering that grew louder with each step. I came to a small clearing, and in the middle stood a gnarled, ancient tree. Its twisted branches seemed to reach out toward the heavens, and the whispering emanated from its bark. I cautiously approached, my flashlight trembling in my hand. As the light touched the tree, I gasped in horror. The bark was etched with strange symbols, and the whispering grew into an unearthly chant. It was as if the tree itself was alive, and it was calling out to me, beckoning me to join it. Terrified, I turned and ran back toward the campsite, the chant still echoing in my ears. When I reached the campfire, my friends were awake, their faces etched with worry. They had heard the whispering too, and it had led them to find me in a state of panic. We quickly packed up our belongings and left the campsite, the chant still haunting our thoughts as we drove back home. I couldn't help but feel that we had narrowly escaped something truly malevolent that night in the woods. To this day, I can't explain what happened, but I know one thing for certain. I will never venture into the woods at night again, and the memory of that chilling whispering will haunt me forever.